This is lesson 9.2, prime factorization. This is page 243. The essential question is, how do you write the prime factorization of a number? Finding factors of a number. Whole numbers that are multiplied to find a product are called factors of that product. A number is divisible by its factor. For example, 4 and 2 are factors of 8 because 4 times 2 equals 8. And 8 is divisible by both 4 and by 2. Example 1. Anna wants to build a rectangular garden with an area of 24 square feet. What are the possible whole number lengths and widths of the garden? Recall that area equals length times width. For Anna's garden, 24 square feet equals length times width. Step 2, list the factors of 24 in pairs. List each pair only once. So these are all the numbers that could be multiplied together to make 24. 1 times 24, those are both factors of 24. 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. So we just actually listed all the factors. And often we list them with commas in between. Let's say we listed 1 goes into 24, 2 does, 3 does, 4 does, 6 does, 8 does, 12 does, and 24. And then they gave you a diagram here. I call it the rainbow method. If I was checking my answers to make sure I got them all, I would say 1 times 24 is 24, and 2 times 12 is 24, and 3 times 8 is 24, and 4 times 6 is 24. So the factors of 24, I'm on this line right here. The factors of 24 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. And then so the different dimensions, to go back to the word problem, what kind of garden could she make? She could make a 24 by 1 garden. She could make a 12 by 2. She could make an 8 foot by 3 foot garden, or she could make a 6 foot by 4 foot garden. Those are the different sizes she could make. Now, if this seems familiar, this is actually very, very similar to what we did in Module 2. So we're basically right now just reviewing Module 2. Oops. Your turn at the bottom, numbers 1 through 4, says to list all the factors of each number. If you're welcome to try this first before you check the answers, or if you need help, that's fine too. But I'm going to list all the factors of each of these, and then what you could do is hit pause and then hit play when you're ready to check your answers. Number 1, list all the factors of each number. Number 1 is 21. What are all the factors of 21? Well, the first factor of every number is 1, and the last factor of every number is itself. 1 times 21 is 21. Now, very commonly, the second factor is 2, but not in this case because 21 is an odd number, and 2 is not a factor of odd numbers. So I check my 3's. Does 3 go into 21? It does. How many times? It goes in 7 times. And then I check my other odd numbers like 5, which is not a factor of 21, and 6, and 7 is. And we already listed 7, which means we got them all now. If I use my rainbow method, I could check here. I think what I'm going to do actually is rewrite this smaller so I can try to fit them all on here. The factors of 21 include 1, 3, 7, and 21. And if I use some kind of a rainbow method here, I could do it upside down. 1 times 21 is 21, and 3 times 7 is 21. And I can't think of any other numbers that divide into 21, which means I got them all. 1, 3, 7, and 21. Number 2, 37. 37 is another odd number, so I know 2 won't be a factor. 1 is a factor of 37, and 37 is. Now we just got to check our other numbers. We don't need to check any even numbers because even numbers don't divide evenly into odd numbers. 2 doesn't go into 37, nor does 4, nor does 6. So I got to check my odd numbers. Does 3 go into 37? If I look at a multiplication chart, I know that 3 goes into 33, 3 goes into 36, 3 goes into 39, but it does not go into 37. 5 doesn't because it ends in a 7. 7 doesn't because 7 times 5 is 35. It's close, but it's not. 9 doesn't. And eventually we come to a point where we realize that there are no other numbers that go into 37. There are only 2 factors. It's 1 and 37. And that makes this a special kind of number. Do you know what this kind of number is? It is a prime number. I'm going to write that off to the side because I want to review with you what prime numbers mean. Prime numbers are the numbers that only have 2 factors, 1 and itself. 37 is a prime number. Number 3, 42. 42 is going to have some factors because it's an even number, which means 2 will be a factor of it. I want to remind you of a couple rules. 1 is the first factor of every number, and itself is the last factor of every number. And the second factor of every even number is 2. And the second to last factor of every even number is 2's partner. In other words, How many times does 2 go into 42? It's exactly half of 42. It's 21. So I want you to notice, I'm going to review with you. The first factor of every number is 1, and the last is itself, and the second factor of even numbers is 2, and the second to last factor of every number is half of itself. All right, so I've got some more here. This one has 8 factors. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I'm going to rewrite this because I've got to squeeze in 8 factors, and that's going to take a little bit of space. So I've got 1 times 42, and I've got 2 times 21. And now I just need to use my multiplication chart and or my facts. Is 3 a factor of 42? It is. 3 goes into 42 14 times. Is 4 a factor of 42? No, because 4 goes into 40, but not 42. 5, 6. Is 6 a factor of 42? It is, because 6 times 7 is 42. So I'm going to rewrite these a little bit closer. It's 14, 21, and 42. And I'm going to use my multiplication. I'm going to use my my rainbow method to check that I got them all. Is 1 times 2 equal to 42? It is. As is 2 times 21. As is 3 times 14. As is 6 times 7. So that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 14, 21, and 42. All right, the last one, 30. 30 has, I can't remember if it has 6. I think it might have 8, but we'll find out. Yeah, I think it's 8. Oh, it might be more. Nope, it's 8. 30 has 8 factors. Let's go through them. This is an even number, which means what I just said about 42 is true. The first factor of every even number is 1, and the last is itself. And the second factor is 2, and the second to last is half of itself. Half of 30 is 15. And then you just go through the rest of your factors. I did 1, 2. Is 3 a factor of 30? It is, because 3 goes into 30 10 times. Is 4 a factor of 30? It is not. Is 5? It is. How many times? 6. And since 5 is right next to 6, that means we're at the end. It's going to be 5 times 6, and 3 times 10, and 2 times 15, and 1 times 30. So I'm going to list them all. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15, and 30. All right, good job. You are done with page 243.